Okay, lots to talk about, Rita. It was a big week. What happened this week? Anything out of the ordinary?
It's a quiet week for me. Landslide's the key word there. This is a clean sweep. I don't think even you, in your most optimistic moments, did you
landslide, yes,
did you think he was going to win every single swing state? Every single swing state. You gave him 6. Everything. The House is the only thing that we're still waiting confirmation on. He's edging closer and closer. He's got the Senate, he's got the popular vote, and of course, he's got the all-important electoral college vote. So this is an enormous mandate. It is undeniable that the American people have spoken, and they've spoken clearly. And the swamp better listen, because it's going to be very different to Trump's first term. That first term, I think he was a little bit naive about just how vicious.
Key point, how different this Trump agenda is going to be. Trump 2.0, James. You're in New York City there. Tell us about it.
Well, yeah, I'm in New York City. As you can hear, people outside are celebrating. It's Saturday night. I'm sure they're all out here celebrating Donald Trump's victory, because what else would there be to party about on a Saturday night in New York City? But I can tell you, though, New York City, which is, typically very, very Democratic, even that, the 5 boroughs here had massive swings to the Republican Party, had massive swings to Donald Trump. And you talk to people just on the quiet, you find that there's so many more Trump supporters out there who are willing to say it than you would have ever seen in 2020. And even, I would say, in 2016. 2016, was one circumstance. 2020 is a whole other story. But this here is a real mandate. As you said, Rowan, the House is looking likely. The Senate is done. All the blue wall is gone. Many states that were very Democratic have started to move more Republican. All sorts of demographic groups have started to move more Republican. This is a huge mandate here. And the big key then is what's going to happen next. And the key thing here is, well, who is Donald Trump going to be bringing in as staffers? I'm hearing that Mike Pompeo may be Secretary of Defense. I'm hearing Richard Grenell may be Secretary of State. Those are a couple of names I can share with you that are being talked about very widely in Trump world. But also we see that Donald Trump himself is coming out and announcing all sorts of policies on all sorts of things, from transgender kids to the media and social media censorship. So I think they've got a better idea this time than they did in 2016 or 2020 about how the levers of power work, what they need to do. And I can tell you also, they've had their own private transition team working for months before the election, so they don't have to rely on the government to help them do the transition. They're going to do it themselves. And that's going to give them a huge advantage.
I think they've learned not to rely on the government for anything after Donald Trump nearly got shot thanks to the failings of the US government. Trump has been president, James and Rita, for only a handful of days. Wait for it. The stock market has already hit a record high. Bitcoin hit a record high. Migrant caravans at the border have been dissolved. President-elect, true. Hamas has called for an end to the war. Really, Bitcoin, as I said, record high. Putin ready to end the Ukraine war. Qatar, we'll talk about this, Rita and James, has kicked out the Hamas leaders. Whoops, get rid of them. EU will now buy US gas, not Russian gas. Putin will sell oil in US dollars. Zelensky has phoned Trump and Elon. Whoops, hello, mate. Yep. New York mayor ends his vouchers for illegals. Mexico to stop migrants at the US border. China wants to work peacefully with the US, and big US companies moving out of China. It's big stuff, Rita. I mean, he's already, just the thought of the Trump 2.0 of the next 4 years has got the world moving in the right direction.
Well, this is part of the mandate. This is what the American people voted for. They don't want any more involvement in foreign wars. It's a big issue over there. And he managed to do that in his first term, despite all the obstruction he faced from the bureaucracy, the swamp, just through strength. And that's what he does. He does diplomacy through strength. So the Iran example, he completely isolated and impoverished the Iranian regime, because he went to the likes of China and said, if you buy their oil, I'm slapping a big tariff on everything that you sell. Into America. So guess what the Chinese did? The Chinese Communist Party behaved. When Biden came in, the Iranian regime was emboldened, it was enriched, and they made sure their proxies acted accordingly. You had Hamas, Hezbollah. They have wreaked havoc in the Middle East in those few short years. And now with Trump coming back, all of that is going to change. Everybody knows that. Everyone knows where he stands on pretty much every issue. I keep hearing, and even from Australian media that should know better, there's so much uncertainty. You don't know what he's going to... You know where he stands on every single issue. Yes. He spells it out. You just have to listen.
James, I know you've missed the Australian media while you've been away, but this just
it's been bad.
Tickled me pink, this one.
I think missed is not exactly the word. But,
James, I love this story here that I just love the understatement in it, that Trump's victory will be a test for Penny Wong's diplomatic skills. Just tell us.
She has any?
Exactly.
Other than just writing.
I think that's putting it mildly. I think you take it away, James.
Well, that is putting it mildly, but I mean, what we've seen here is on a foreign policy level, we have seen a final rebuke to what can basically be called Obamaism, the Obama-style foreign policy, which Joe Biden continued through his term of his administration. And this is this idea that, America doesn't really have interests, and if America does have interests, they're probably shameful. We should, elevate and talk to our enemies. Just sort of like enlightened people can all get together and work things out between themselves. And it's a completely unrealistic sort of way to look at the world, because, of course, this emboldened Iran under the Obama administration. It really emboldened Iran under the Biden administration, and there is a very direct link to that foreign policy and the horrors of October 7th, because, of course,
absolutely,
Iran was enriched to the tunes of hundreds of billions of dollars. Now, already before Donald Trump comes into office, we've had in recent weeks Israel, take massive steps to downgrade Iran's ability, both within Iran and through its proxies, to threaten the Middle East. But now I think Iran is going to be in a position very soon where it's going to have to sue for peace if it wants to survive as a regime. But really, all we can hope for is that we see the Iranian people liberated from this horrendous theocracy that they've been laboring under since 1979.